Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about the markets, right? We are going to be talking about some of the micro levels, some of the bigger levels, and we are overall going to see which direction the market is going. Now, we are in Bitcoin and we will dive into other coins. We will dive into the other charts. But, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, I do want to say, generally speaking, I believe next week is going to be the week where we really, really start to recover and pump. Okay. Um, many reasons. Historically, February has always been the lowest point for altcoins. And after that, historically, the next few months have been very beautiful. Okay. So I don't expect too many things to change, and we're going to dive right into the chart. So first on Bitcoin, right? First on Bitcoin, we can see the last 2 weeks, even this week, a lot of momentum has slowed down. Generally speaking, yes, sometimes it was going up a little bit, sometimes a little bit down, but generally speaking, the last 2 to 3 weeks, a lot of momentum has slowed down. We have pretty much been going sideways ever since February 4th or 5th. Some may debate, and for me, that is just a big sign that we are going to explode, right? Accumulation has always been an indicator that price is going to reverse in whatever the proper context is. And since I believe the context is that we will be continuing up because we have been going sideways for about 7.5 months here, which was the retest on top of the previous all time highs, right? I believe we will continue going up. We also do have a triple tap confirmation, right? We do have this. Now, there is a very small chance that we could go below 93,000, let's just say $400 into a 1 minute specific order block, but that is the most we should really be going. For me, everything is looking like it is about to explode, it is about to recover. When we go and look at the charts, we could see every time it looks like it's kind of dead and slow, things really pump, right? We have sell off here, it looks a little bit slow, and then we pump, right? We sell off, we buying pressure, and all of a sudden, boom, bang, right? Even more, right? More examples. Big selling pressure, candle turns green. Then next week is pretty slow, big buying pressure, right? Same thing over here, right? you know, Slow pressure, liquidity sweep. This week is slow, this week is slow. Bang, we start banging. So, I've seen this before, and this is not only just for Bitcoin. I've seen this for gold. I've seen this for Forex pairs. This is a very common thing that I personally witness a lot. So I do expect price to start recovering. Okay, I really do. I'm not sure where it'll go, but there's a likely possibility by next week we should be going up to $105,000 because there is a big support and resistance right over here. And from there, we will obviously then break down the charts. So that is that. In terms of the monthly candle, everything is looking good in terms of closings, right? We only have a couple days left until the monthly closing. And after that, it will be a confirmation. This was just pretty much a retest off of this monthly support over here, right? That is pretty much it. That's it's going to be. And for me, like I said, I expect things to start turning around. Now we will dive into altcoin dominance and Bitcoin dominance. Actually, we'll start with the altcoin dominance. This is the dominance, ladies and gentlemen, for coins that are not in the top 10. I repeat, not in top 10. So no XRP, no Ethereum, I think Cardano's top 10 at the current moment. None of that. None of those big boys, right? This is pretty much relevant for those that are holding, let's just say, Ondo, Turbo, Trump coin. Like it doesn't matter. Like all those types of coins, right? So this is the most relevant chart. We can see we have been pretty much creating some type of support over here for the last little while. And we also have been accumulating. You'll notice in general, the markets have been accumulating. And for me, they are preparing for reversals. Okay. Every time there's been some type of dip and accumulation, we start recovering, right? We dip a lot, accumulation for pretty much almost a month, we start going to the upside, right? Every time something like that happens, it pretty much is an indicator of reversals happening. Now, overall, this bull run, this altcoin season, I expect us to go really, really high. I genuinely do. So pretty much, this was the peak of when all the altcoins really peaked, generally speaking, right? Somewhere over here. Now, even though we have a higher peak in 2022, that's because Bitcoin actually died so much that the altcoin dominance was a little bit better, but altcoins also died a lot by the beginning of 2022. So that is, not the most accurate indicator, but we could see, right? Um, we have something like this, which did take out the highs. And when we go to, other data, we can see pretty much every time there's some type of high created, in general, that's usually when the altcoins did peak. So what I do expect at the minimum is pretty much for altcoins to pretty much recover roughly to similar levels at the minimum, and then probably peak a couple of percentage higher before we truly peak. My guess is somewhere in the mid 20s will probably peak, right? Let's just say roughly at 25% for simplicity's sake. So this is where I believe we will peak somewhere, right? We will continue to monitor everything, right? We'll be looking at how we react off of this, high over here. At the minimum, I believe it should get swept. That is just historically how data and charts are. They usually just don't leave a nice clean double top. They usually sweep it. So I expect us at the minimum to pretty much go up to 19.33% and a little bit higher. So like 21% at the minimum, which, man, that would be really, really juicy. But like I said, I do expect to create higher highs as we've always done historically, right? Historically, we have always created higher highs. And I believe this will be no different. Okay. We could go up based off the Fibonacci. Take it from here to, let's just say, roughly the last relevant bottoms and flip this very, very quickly. Do reverse. Like I said, we could go upwards of 28%, right? We could very well see that. Another way we could mark it up is if we actually use the trend line, because this works for so many pairs like gold, um, I've seen it work on Bitcoin before, where pretty much if you do a trend line on the tops, right, there's a great chance that it will actually bounce off somewhere along this trend line. Now, obviously, we need to see more data to see when things are going to be happening. But let's just say, something happens like this over the next little while, right? If we're somewhere here, we could expect upwards, like I said, of that 30%. If we peak a little bit earlier, we could expect upwards of 26%. So we have to see and monitor everything, right, when the time comes. But for me, it's looking very, very juicy. I expect a great altcoin season, right? I think this is going to be the biggest one because after this, is going to be more and more regulations. I still think next cycle is also going to be great. Just I believe this is going to be the big one. Okay. That is my personal opinion. When we do start expanding from, you know, the total market cap, I could definitely see us hitting very, very nice ranges. For me, the next range would be roughly somewhere from, before we actually calculate, let's calculate this one. So if we take it from the top to like the last relevant bottom, I would say, right, somewhere over here, we went up to the 1.61 area. If we take it from here, you could debate almost to 2.2. So let's just go up here. So 1.61 area. If we did something very, very similar, right, we could actually have another peak upwards of, 4.5 trillion somewhere here. And I do believe that would be the second leg. Okay. Usually there are three legs when it comes to this. Uh, this was just a retest pretty much off the highs. This is the first leg, right where we're at right now. I expect another nice leg somewhere up to, let's just say, 4.75 trillion, and then from there we probably get a nice weaker one upwards of 6 trillion. So that is where I expect the market to peak. For the first peak, obviously, if there's going to be a double peak and double pump, we could expect some kind of sell off like this, accumulation, and then again, something very, very similar where we, peak up to 8 trillion, sell off a little bit, then up to 10 trillion, and then, get something upwards of 12 trillion. It could be something like this. I don't know. I personally am selling for the first pump, and then I'm going to create another plan to see, how the dips are, if there's gonna be more opportunities. Is it just a one and done pump, or will we get a double pump? So, I'm being very, very cautious when it comes to that. We will look at altcoins very quickly, but generally, it's going to be the same thing for most coins. we have pretty much been just accumulating, going sideways. We can see something like Ondo. I expect it to be going a little lower. I still think you could get a fantastic price right now at $1.15, but you could definitely be getting around $1.10 or even down to $1.05. Pangolin, for me, I don't expect Pangolin to go below 16 cents, right? We should be chilling around this area before we pump up. Turbo, I'm not going to go too much into it, but generally speaking, we are already testing these highs multiple times. I expect a nice push through over the next week. ICP, right? ICP, it's accumulating. I do expect a little bit of a retracement, right? We could go back down to roughly 650, maybe potentially 620, depending on how market conditions will be. If they're going to be green right away, then we should be breaking up to the upside and then continuing to recover price. XRP, for me, the one concern I do have with XRP is that there is a lot of liquidity to be swept. And for me, it just feels like because of XRP and some other coins lining up, I just feel like it's going to dip a certain amount, right? At least probably 10% and maybe upwards even of 15%. If that's going to be the case for XRP, then we could be seeing that final dip happen on Sunday, Monday, before we continue pumping up. Caspa, right? Looks like wants to recover. Generally speaking, sorry, it looks like it wants to be going down, but it will recover very, very quickly, right? We are near this resistance that will turn into support in the very near future. Myro is generally dead. You could get a nice opportunity, maybe a quick scalp for your money, right? Get back down at roughly, 1.7 cents, maybe get a quick pump, quick flip to then just get out of it, right? I wouldn't really hold Myro long term anymore unless, obviously things get revived, but you are relying on so many X factors. Render, same thing, accumulation, expect a little bit of a downwards movement before we continue going up. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it pretty much for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.